beautiful people. Good evening, great and wonderful listeners. My name is Hamusa Emmanuel Eniton, the MD CEO, Senior Manager, and a Principal Consultant at Catalyst Innovations and Network. And I'd like to share with you this very moment some interesting key winning opportunities that will open our eyes to so many things. And at the same time, I want to open our eyes and make us see through the goggles of nature the reason why we can still break barriers, set more standards, and defy odds, as the case may be. And once again, I welcome you all to another episode of the High Impact Leadership. So join me as we get into the discourse of success together. And today, my topic is there is no need quitting. I repeat, there is no need quitting. Ladies and gentlemen, Zig Ziglar once said, when obstacles arise, you change your direction to reach your goal. So you do not change your decisions to get there. I repeat, when obstacles arise, you change your direction to reach your goal. You do not change your decision to get there. Now, there are two key points I want you to lay as a foundational basis for today's discussion. Change and direction. And there are two things involved. Direction and decision. Now, there are the two factors I want you to have as a foundational basis for this discussion today. Decision, which is the first point, and the second one is direction. Now, decision, as it is an entity. It is a factor that actually, that is being engrossed in leaders. And what do I mean by this? You see, sometimes people believe we are all obligated to make right decisions. But dear beautiful listeners, I'm telling you today, nobody is obligated to make right decisions, but you are obligated to make your decisions right. And I've been telling so many people in so many conferences, I've gone to so many public speaking gigs I've done over the period of time. I do tell people at some point in time, the decisions you made so many years ago has brought you where you are today. And so many things you have done so many years ago has actually led you where you are today. So decision is a key and important factors that actually cannot be underestimated as far as leadership is concerned. And the same thing goes to direction. Sometimes when we are faced with so many challenges, the next thing that comes to mind or the next thing we resort to is changing our direction. But the normal thing is, no matter what it is, decision needs to take place. But the decision you need to do is the fact that whatever the situation may be, you don't change your decision. But obviously, you can still change your direction to get to your goal. You see, the landable truth is so many people really can't conform to the fact. And nobody is obligated to make right decision. But you're obligated to make your decisions right. Remember that sometimes it is always a slow process. But I believe quitting won't speed it up. So, how many times do you think doors has been slammed on you? How do you feel about your unemployment struggles and tussles? Your marriage is in shambles. Your financial life isn't improving. And you are feeling dejected, neglected, and at the same time depressed. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe and I think this motivational section is meant for you. Do you know how many people die of depression and by committing suicide virtually every day? Do you know how many lives aren't in the right state of mind? But here I brought you all the good news. And what's the good news today? Don't feel disappointed. Don't feel embarrassed and dejected. You see, you can still get there. You just can't quit because you are almost there. You can't just quit because you're facing a series of challenges. You can't stop the movement. You can't stop the actions of getting there. You see, nothing debars you except your thoughts from your mind. You see, the thought is very important. One thing that actually fractures you is the rate at which you think. And that is why your thinking is as important as anything you wish for. You see, the only barrier standing between what you intend to achieve is you. I repeat, the only barrier standing, between what you intend to achieve is you. And that is why I do tell people, the only mountain that stands between an ignorant man and knowledge is himself. So the same thing and the same principles I'll be applying, to tell you today that the only mountain that stands between you and success is yourself. So today you should understand the principles of direction and the principles of decision, as far as success is concerned. Remember, the quality of your life is in the existence of your thoughts. Therefore, you should know that your inward bearing automatically affects you on the outside. And I'm very sure you may be asking yourself, why some propounded and proposed theory, being formed by various motivational speakers, inspirational speakers, leaders, success speakers, authors, and so many influencers doesn't really work well in this part of the world. Remember, as far as catalyst teachings may as well stand the test of time, because the same blood also flows through our vein. And don't forget, the man behind the microphone has actually, encountered so many challenges. And here today, so many people are listening to me. So many people can't even get enough of my wisdom, and they keep coming in every day, to get motivation. You see, people really do say motivation doesn't last. Yes, it is, and that's it. Motivation really doesn't last, and so does bathing and brushing, and that is why motivation is being recommended every day. So you need to ask yourself. You need to know, or you need to search deep inside you if there's any factor that would keep you, working. If there's any factor that will keep you performing at the highest level. Now, I want you to hold that as a point. You see, the same principles being applied by the likes of Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, Ken Blanchard, John Maxwell, and other notable influencers may not really conform to your identity or to reality. But at least it will open your thoughts to see through the goggles of nature from another perspective. The need for you to break barriers and exceed, your horizon. And at the same time, you can widen the front tires of your knowledge, and you can begin to see yourself breaking records. In life, there is always two-sided coin. And I'm glad to tell you today that even in the cycles of life, there are always two different people. You see, we have the victorious people and the vanquished. We have the positive people and the negative ones. See, we have the winners and the wounded. And lastly, we have the victors and the victim. So my decision to you today is, it is yours to decide. I can never make any decision for you, but I think my message as it is right now is for you to decide which class you really belong to. Now, if you decide to quit, peradventure, you're falling into another side of life, because the positive-minded people are always on top of every situation and every circumstances they face. You see them, they are always breaking barriers, defeating their fears, turning uncomfortable situations to their own advantage, and as well as pulling the reins of leadership. You see, a positive mind doesn't quit. They carry on and obviously get to their goals. And if there's any aspect of your life that needs to change, you see, let it be your thinking. If there's any aspect of your life that needs to change, let it be your thoughts and approach. If there's any aspect of your life that needs to change, let it be your perspective. These are factors that are playing vital roles, and they hold the foundational success to everything you would want to break as barrier as far as leadership is concerned. So I'm telling you to you today, you see, most of these things I've mentioned, the factors I mentioned initially, these are factors that would always leverage your potentials. These are factors that would always leverage and put a leverage on your attitude. So no matter what the case may be, my message to you this time around is, please do not change your decision to break barriers. Do not change your decisions to defy odds. Do not change your decisions to unshackle bonds. Do not change your decision to break what? To break more records, as the case may be. And I'm glad to tell you that no matter what it is, there's no need for you to quit. You can still move on. And I can bet you'd see yourself breaking barriers and setting standards. So thank you for joining me on this wonderful episode this evening. And I'll be looking forward to see you break more barriers and set more standards on our next episode. See you next week. God bless you. Goodbye.